Hello everyone and welcome back to Shaner'S Rant. It's Sunday and I guess it's the last day of my birthday weekend. I guess I could keep celebrating, right? Right. We're not going to let Rudolph play in any reindeer games, right? Right. So first of all, before we begin, cheers to all you hard-working Canadians out there. Swig a beer. No, wait a minute. It's not beer. I identify as water. Yes. Mama Moose got me that for my birthday. Right on. So, got a lot of stuff. I really meant to do this podcast this morning, and stuff just keeps happening today, and I'm not complaining, just I still got the coffee mug sitting here. I planned on doing this drink of coffee this morning, but anyway, beer o'clock, and I'll get things set up and ready to go. Got lots of clips. I'm going to start off with some local stuff, some municipal and regional stuff for, well, the only people that watch this show are locals anyways, and friends and acquaintances, I guess. So I'll get this all loaded up. Alright, first video is Mayor Mike Jubb of Township of Brock with an update. There we go.
Happy sunny Sunday. Mike Jubb here, Mayor for the Township of Brock. I am currently at our Main Street CN rail crossing. It's right beside the Foster Hewitt Memorial Community Center. We receive a ton of complaints regarding the shape of this crossing. Unfortunately, it is the responsibility of CN Rail. However, I am pleased to finally report that we have reached out to CN last week, again, like we have in the past. They have committed to doing a full engineering inspection of this crosswalk, as it is currently unacceptable. Cars are literally bottoming out as I'm doing this video. So again, we are advocating trying to get this fixed. We know people are, vehicles are getting damaged, and it's causing a lot of problems. So I will update what we get back from CN and what the plan is. Just wanted to update the public and everyone on this, and let you know we are trying to advocate to them as hard as we can. Thanks very much. Enjoy the sun.
Another quick note, apparently Brock Township will have its first dog park in 2026. That's pretty cool. Right on. Okay, for the life of me, I just spent the last 5 minutes on pause trying to find a video from Councillor Lisa Robinson talking about Doug Ford. Anyways, I couldn't find it, but I found a post of hers. Doug Ford calls himself a conservative. Ford Nation cheers him on. Is he really? Ford's secret power grab. Unelected cronies to set to steal your vote. Doug Ford is trying to ram Bill 100 through right now, and it's not efficiency. It's full provincial takeover. In Durham, Peel, York, Halton, and more, the Premier will personally appoint the regional chair with total veto power over your elected councils, budgets, water, transit, and bylaws. Your mayor and councillors are about to be powerless. This is minority rule by Ford's hand-picked yes men, exactly where locals have been blocking reckless sprawl. Your local democracy is next. Watch before it's too late. So that's interesting. I guess I'm spending too much time worrying about federal shit than I do the local stuff and provincial. But there's only so many hours in a day, and I can only stomach so much news in a day, and I can only be aware of so much stuff in a day, and I can only post and talk about so much stuff in a day. I'm gonna find her video. Give me a sec. Anyways, I'm still searching for the video. Now, we all know Doug Ford says he's a conservative, but he's the most liberal acting conservative I've ever seen. And he sucks up the carny and has no use for Polyev. I think he ultimately wants Poilievre's job. But anyway, so apparently there's a democracy group preparing constitutional challenge against Ontario Premier Doug Ford over freedom of information restrictions. So I apologize. I'm trying to get everything that I put for this podcast into some sort of order, but it really is out of order, so I'll be zigzagging back and forth through things. Okay, I think I finally found the video. So this counselor, she's what, Pickering? Pickering, I think. And she's working without pay. She's caused a lot of stir, shall we say. She's very, I don't know what to call her, but a lot of people don't like her that she works with. They've tried to silence her. She might be a fringe player, but so far I agree with everything that she's been saying, but I don't really have to deal with her. I don't live in her town, but she's really outspoken, and she believes what she believes, and the people that follow her truly believe in what she's saying. And let's listen to her video. Let me get it queued up here.
Hi, it's Councillor Lisa Robinson here. Today, you know what, I'm just going to...
Sorry, that was a bit of a miscue on my end.
Hey guys, Councillor Lisa Robinson here. Today, you know what, I'm just going to cut through the bullshit on what Doug Ford's so-called Conservative government is wanting to ram forward here in Ontario. Bill 100, which is the Better Regional Governance Act of 2026, is something that they sold as efficiency and faster housing. But here's the raw truth. This is a full-scale provincial takeover of your local democracy. In Durham, Halton, Muskoka, Niagara, Peel, Waterloo, York, and Simcoe County, over 5 million people, the Ford government will appoint the regional chair. Not elected by you, not picked by your councillors, but hand-picked by the minister in Toronto. And they're going to give these unelected puppets full strong chair powers, override your entire elected council, be able to veto bylaws, hire and fire top staff, control the budget, the water, the transit, the infrastructure, and they can do this even if every single person in your area voted to say no. Your mayor elected, your councillors elected, the guy now running your region, a Ford appointee who answers to Queen's Park, not to you. That's not reform, that's minority rule. Your vote just got neutered. And please, honestly, don't buy that it's about the housing line. These exact regions, Durham, Peel, York, Halton, are precisely where local councils and residents have been pushing back hard against reckless development. Protecting green spaces, farmland, community character. Remember Durham's Cherrywood? That massive greenbelt fight? The scandal where connected developers got prime protected land opened up, then it blew up in all of their faces? Locals and environmentalists fought like hell to stop sprawl there. Ford's own words, elected chairs are getting in the way of his priorities. So what's the play? Install yes men who ram through the projects your local councils have been blocking? And at the same time, they're pushing bills to make it easier to remove elected officials without a public vote. One hand, appoint untouchable bosses with veto power, and on the other hand, purge anyone who tries to fight back. This isn't a coincidence. This is starting to become a pattern, a deliberate shift in centralized control. From local accountability to Ford's cronies calling the shots. Now, Bill 100 hasn't passed yet. It is still stoppable, but only if we raise absolute hell right now. You need to contact your MPP and you need to demand that they kill this power grab. Share this video like your community depends on it, because it really does. Ontario didn't elect Doug Ford to dismantle local democracy. We elected him to protect it. And don't forget, if they take your voice today, they're not going to give it back to you tomorrow. I am Councillor Lisa Robinson, the People's Councillor, and I will never whisper the truth to protect a lie. So if you believe real power belongs to the people, follow me, subscribe, and please do everything you can to share this message. Until next time, stand strong, stay fierce, and God bless.
Interesting. I don't know what to make of it. I really got nothing to say. She has really said it all, and I was oblivious to this because I'm watching the Parliament. What are your thoughts, people? Like, comment, share. Leave some comments. Let's talk about this. Let's share this video. Not necessarily mine. Share her video. So there you go. Look it up. Lisa Robinson. You can subscribe if you want. I'll hit like. I like that video. But you can share the video easy on your Facebook or whatever else you have. I really had no idea about that. Something to think about. Now we're moving on to, it's not breaking news, but one of the most disgusting things ever. If I can pull it up here. Come on, mouse, let's work here. Let's do this. Disgusting. Woke Canadian judge just blocked the deportation of Indian trucker who killed 16 hockey players. Let's get this bitch's name out there. Justice Jocelyn Gagne halted the removal of Jaskarit Singh Sidhu, the man responsible for the horrific 2018 Humboldt Broncos bus crash that slaughtered 16 young athletes and injured 13 more, all because she's worried about his mental well-being. The killer ran a stop sign, smashed into a bus full of dreaming Canadian kids, and now, after serving just a fraction of his sentence and getting parole, Canada's justice system wants to let him stay. Really? Prioritizing the murderer's suicidal ideation, I don't know that word, over justice for the victims and their grieving families. This is beyond insane. Canada's courts have completely lost the plot. I don't know who this David J. Harris Jr. is, but he showed up in my Facebook feed, and I'm glad that he did. This is just horrible. Saw it coming a mile away, though, because this guy, Sidhu, he was all over the CBC. They were all over this guy, trying to give him sympathy. Oh, he has a baby girl, a young daughter. It's horrific what he did. I mean, he didn't just kill one person. 16 kids. Okay, we all know the story. Like, worried about his mental well-being? Get him the fuck out of here. Send him back. Actually, he shouldn't have even had the right to go back home. If you're sentenced to jail time here, serve the full sentence. I'm sorry, I don't even know what his sentence was, but shouldn't have been like 16 life sentences? A life for a life? My God. I'm not shocked with all the other bullcrap that goes on with the justice system, how they let people out. They let criminals out the same day. I've heard stories of criminals being arrested twice the same day. They get arrested in the morning, they're out the same day, and they're back in the same night. Let's look at this horrible judge. What are you thinking, lady? What are you thinking? My God. This is justice? Sorry, pal. You should be behind bars. Sending him back to his home country is too good for him. He shouldn't have a life. Look at this, lock him up. Yeah, like, why is he free? Look at these young people here living. Good Lord. Good Lord. Young lives. You are evil. You're as evil as this dude. That's just my humble opinion. Okay, maybe Sidhu is not an evil man, but you sure as hell screwed up. I mean, like that. I'm speechless. It's Shaner'S Rant. I can't rant. I mean, like, what do you say? What do you do? Like, you did it. You did it. Whether you meant to or not, you ran a stop sign and you killed 16 kids. Unfathomable. I don't mean to make jokes, but I can't speak. And I'm back. Was I gone? Yes, I was. I had to hit pause and go and have happy hour with Mama Moose. And I'm back. And trying to remember where I was at, but anyways, oh yeah, it was the Humboldt, and I really needed to move on from that anyways, so I got a video lined up. I forget this guy's name. I should remember all their names by now, but not the brightest bulb. But this MP, this Liberal MP, God, what's his name? I want to goof on him so bad, because he's the most awkward looking guy I've ever seen. But I guess he's got, like, physical, I don't want to say deformity, or he must have some problem that I don't want to make fun of. But, you know, he's awkward looking when he gets up and speaks. So I don't really want to make fun of him because I don't want to be an asshole, but he's even more awkward with what comes out of his mouth. So can we at least goof on that? Like, all right, so let's give this a listen, because this is funny, because, like, as it says, Liberal MP gets visibly uncomfortable when he's asked about Carney's cost of living lie. So we all know, anybody that follows any of it, Carney says 3 weeks ago, you know, Canadians have never had it better in the last 10 years. And I don't know. I don't know about you, but I don't spend $500,000 on a plane trip of, you know, on my food on a plane trip overseas. So I don't think he's really in touch with the average Canadian on the groceries. So this is funny. This is a funny clip. Let's just listen.
3 weeks ago, Minister, the Prime Minister in question period said about Canada, affordability is the best it's been in over a decade. Do you know anybody who feels that way?
I mean, Vashi, I think that we all know, you know, we're all MPs from coast to coast to coast understand that affordability is a challenge. I don't think that, you know, if you go back to the COVID times when inflation went, prices rose with it. Inflation's come down, obviously, within targeted numbers, but prices haven't come down.
3 weeks ago, the Prime Minister in question period said...
Exactly. Prices haven't come down. Oh, dude. Shut up, Shane. You're just going to get yourself canceled. Anyhow, moving forward, we've got a video clip that showed up on my Facebook feed. This H.R.H. Elliott. I might as well give him a follow. He did a video, short video, about Tiff Makelum from the Bank of Canada. And so let's read this caption here. Tiff Makelum contradicts what the Liberal government, easy for me to say after happy hour, under Trudeau and Carney have been saying for years. So let's give this a good listen.
Risk that inflation becomes more persistent goes up.
Just admitted that they lied to us.
Oil prices go up, and particularly if they stay up, the risk that inflation becomes more persistent goes up, and there may need to be increases in the policy rate. And as we indicated, probably more than one consecutive increase.
But I thought that taxes on fuel did not increase inflation. I mean, this started with Trudeau when he introduced a carbon tax, and we were told that it would not be inflationary. Then the lies continued under the Liberal. Eventually, Carney decided to keep fuel taxes like the excise tax and the GST, even though the Conservatives have been asking for them to remove them temporarily, at least to ease due to the stress of the current oil prices that we're seeing. Finally, Carney relents, removes the excise taxes, decides to keep the GST, and the carbon tax rebranded as the fuel standard. The media goes on a tirade saying stuff like this.
You are proposing cutting these gas taxes, which will increase demand and therefore inflation. Why should Canadians trust your economic credentials?
And finally, we have Tiff Macklin just admitting today, that's the governor of the Bank of Canada, by the way, that higher oil prices, that is driven obviously by the global market, the war in Iran, but also taxes, leads to inflation. Basically saying what everyone's been saying, what every Tom, Dick, and Harry knew all along, but that you were being gaslit into not believing. Well, finally the truth comes out.
Moving on, a little bit of Andrew Lawton from the House of Commons here. All my videos are still out of whack here.
Say this is a, quote, new government, but the only things that have changed are the color of the Prime Minister's socks and the size of the deficit. This Liberal Prime Minister has doubled Justin Trudeau's deficit, maxing out the country's credit cards, and forcing Canadians to pay more to bankers and bondholders rather than roads and hospitals. Even the Globe and Mail sees through this, saying, quote, it's clear the Liberals have no intention of changing their high-spending ways. Maybe that's why the Liberals are sending more money to the media in their fiscal update. Why is this costly Liberal government pretending that new means improved?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Financial Institutions.
Mr. Speaker, while that party doubles down on offering nothing for Canadians, we're going to build the strongest economy in the G7. We just tabled the Spring Economic Update, which confirms we have the strongest fiscal position in the G7. We also announced, Mr. Speaker, the Sovereign Wealth Fund, which will spark massive investment in our country, a fund by Canada for Canadians. Time for that party to get off the sidelines, help us to build Canada strong. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Elgin St. Thomas, London South.
Mr. Speaker, I wish that member were laser focused on answering a question for once. This budget proves nothing has changed. Same Liberal excuses, same Liberal spending addiction, same Liberal credit card, just with a much higher limit. Canadians are paying more for groceries, more for rent, more in taxes, while this Prime Minister doubles down on the same failed borrow and spend policies that gave Canada the worst inflation in 40 years. Simple question, why should Canadians be forced to make the credit card payments for this Prime Minister's reckless spending?
The Honourable Secretary of State.
Mr. Speaker, he may say same answers, but they hand the same question around from member to member. We're focused on building the strongest economy in the G7, Mr. Speaker. We're focused on affordability, making life more affordable for Canadians. At home, we're cutting taxes. We just launched the groceries and essentials benefit. We just cut the federal excise tax on fuel combined with the carbon tax cut. That's 28 cents. Our spring economic update confirms our fiscal position is strong. We have the leader to build Canada strong. They have a leader who's never worked a day outside of this House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Liberals say this is a, quote, new government, but the only things that have changed are the color of the Prime Minister's socks and the size of the...
Oh, that was a zinger. So, moving on. This next video is a clip from committee, Parliament committee. This is before the Liberals started voting it to go off camera. Well, they call it in camera, which means they close the cameras off, and the public will never find out what goes on behind closed doors. But this has to do with, you know, the light sentencing. I should do this in the morning. The light sentencing of criminals, you know, that do sex crimes, the sex law crimes, whether it be child pornography or trafficking and stuff. So it's probably best I shut up and just have a beer and a smoke and maybe a toke. Let the smart people do the talking. Here we go.
Very pleased to be supporting Mr. Baber's amendment, which would not only reinstate mandatory minimum sentences for heinous offenses, including the distribution and possession of child sexual abuse and exploitation material, but do it in a way that would protect it from being overturned, as it was so absurdly by the Supreme Court in the Senville decision. And contrary to how members of the Liberal government have tried to frame the notwithstanding clause on criminal justice issues in the past, the notwithstanding clause is a part of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. So using the notwithstanding clause is, by design, a charter-compliant mechanism because it is using a tool provided to legislatures, including the federal parliament, to preserve something that Canadians want, Canadians deserve, and victims want, which are, not just in these offences, but in a broader set of offences, very strong signals from the government, from Parliament, which is accountable to the people, that there should be, just as we have maximum sentences in law, minimum sentences when something is so heinous. We need to have a safeguard against an overly lenient sentence. And in the Senville decision, which, by the way, triggered a robust discussion at this committee, my Conservative colleagues and I moved an amendment to denounce in the strongest possible terms the idea that some sentence of, again, a paltry 1 year even for these offences could ever be seen as cruel and unusual punishment. The catalyst for the Senville decision was a pair of cases in which the trial judge went below mandatory minimum sentences, proving that judicial leniency is a problem. And this has come up in the past before. This is not an issue that started with the Senville decision, and I'm actually very glad that even Liberal members of Parliament have recognized.
Whoa. See, I can't be possibly up on every situation that goes on. Otherwise, I'd be attached to the frickin' TV 24/7, which I'm not doing. But you mean to tell me that people that commit sex crimes are not even getting the minimum sentence? Wow. I mean, I believe in all the innocent till proven guilty and all that jazz, believe me. But, like, if it's real heinous shit, I mean, and you're convicted, like, if you're proven guilty, anyway, let the smart people talk, Shaner.
Recognize this. And this is from the debate on Bill C-75 a couple of years back. Quote, I do not think Canadians look at the decisions that judges have made and think that criminals are getting an adequate punishment for the crime. Well, not every single crime is identical, and I am not opposed to judges having some leeway. It looks to me that the leeway is so big that in many cases we are coming to the minimum sentence instead of something that is more standard. Now, that was from Liberal Member of Parliament Marilyn Gladue, and I think she was actually very accurate in denouncing how judicial leeway is sometimes resulting in subpar decisions. We also had a comment from, again, Liberal MP Marilyn Gladue back in November. The Liberal failure of this was put on full display. The Liberals had Bill C-5, which took away mandatory minimums and put house arrest in place. That made things even worse.
Ooh, did he just... Wow. Let me turn that back up. Wow. Not only is this a very important issue, absolutely, but he is using her against the Liberals. This is very smart. Very smart. And she was right. I mean, what she said back in November, she was right. Do you think anybody could ever cross the floor and ever cross back? Is that possible? I wonder. I just wonder. I wonder. Anyway, let's find out what else I got to say.
So we have recognition from MPs of multiple parties that the Liberals have failed to send serious signals and messages with their criminal justice reforms over the past several years. And I think on something like this, we should be able to band together representatives from all parties and say that there is no tolerance for this type of leniency that would argue a sentence of even just 1 year, which I think even then is too low, is cruel and unusual punishment for someone trafficking in child sexual abuse and exploitation material. So this is a mechanism that Mr. Baber has proposed in his amendment that I think is a very strong one, it is a very important one, and it is in line with what Canadians would expect, which is to not have people that have committed heinous and unthinkable acts sent off with 90-day sentences, 9-month conditional sentences, something that just flies in the face of what truly standing up for victims would look like in the justice system.
Wow.
I am very pleased.
Wow. That stuff's really happening. Sorry. I mumbled. That stuff's really happening. Who are we supposed to protect in this world? The victims or the criminals? Makes you wonder. Why are we protecting criminals? Anyways, instead of moving forward, I gotta move backwards. I finally found the other video I had about the gasoline prices. And, you know, yeah, it's a video from Pierre Poilievre, and I know the Grant guy or whatever his name is, I don't know, Mr. Puffy Chest. He didn't make, he got a zinger in. You know, they always make fun of Poilievre that he didn't work outside of politics or anything. His first job that he got paid for was in politics. When he was a teenager, that's what he got into, because he couldn't do sports. He got injured, and he got into politics. And he worked. That was a job, a paying job, was in politics. And he's been in it ever since. Yes, people have goofed on him. All along, you've never done anything else. You got a pension at 31. All these things are true. But flip that coin, and if you listen to any of the other podcasts that he's actually been on and talked about his life and outside of politics and how he grew up, and they read, what was it, the Diary of a CEO, they read the letter that he wrote as a teenager and how he wanted if he was prime minister, how he would want Canada, and whatever age he was, 14, 15, 16 at the time, whatever it was, he's never once deviated in all these years, and he's, what, 46, something like that? All these years, in 30 years, he's never deviated from that concept. Has he goofed along the way? Sure. He's not had a chance to goof up like all the other liberals. Like, come on, compare him to Trudeau? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The man has not changed his tone in years. He's been saying the same things over and over and over again because they're the truth. And people are sick of hearing the truth. Seriously? You'd rather buy into lies. Okay? Don't want to vote for Pierre. What else you got? The man is honest. I totally think he goofed on the whole Bitcoin stuff like that. But also, I'm not well schooled in it. I don't know the first thing about it. I just know a lot of people made money, and then a lot of people lost a lot of money, and I wanted nothing to do with it. So now I am ranting. So this is why we call it Shaner'S Rant, right? So he's been my guy since before he was leader. I just agree with everything. I don't agree with everything that he thought in the past, but the past is the past. And my past is my past. So I screwed up too. I don't know. Anyways, let's listen to this video. See if I got the volume up good enough here. Of course not. It's not going to work. That figures. I better put this video on pause and fix the issue. And we're back. Let's see. I think I got this working. Here we go.
Liberals tell you that the only reason that gas prices have risen up to $1.83 a liter is because the world oil price is now $100 a barrel. But you know when else oil hit $100 a barrel? Back in 2014 when Stephen Harper and the Conservatives were in office. And guess what the gas price was then? $1.38, 45 cents cheaper. How is it possible that while the global oil price was exactly the same then as it is now, $100 a barrel, gas was 45 cents cheaper at the pump? The answer is liberal policies inflate the cost. One, you have liberal taxes, including both the newly renamed liberal carbon tax, which is back on the pumps, just as I predicted it would be, and the GST on that tax and on the gas. Two, you have money printing deficits that inflates the cost of everything. And three, we have a very weak loonie. It's 20% lower today than it was back in 2014 under Stephen Harper. Why? Because Mark Carney's weak economic leadership has made for a weak economy, which makes for a weak loonie, and weak loonies don't buy very much internationally priced commodities like energy and food. Check out your grocery bill if you want any confirmation. So what can we do? We need to scrap all gas taxes. We need to stop the money printing deficits to preserve purchasing power, and we need to unblock our oil and gas and other resources so that we can have a strong economy with a strong dollar that buys more food, fuel, homes, and everything else you need. That's how we make Canada affordable at home, strong at home. Don't take your foot off the gas.
You're MAGA. You're Maple MAGA. You're Maple MAGA. You're MAGA. You're just like Trump. Ugh. Shut up, people. Tell me the man's not making sense. And we're back. I'm going to save some of this stuff for another time because I've been at this podcast on and off for 3 hours. It's now like 7 o'clock, and this is not even an hour show. I got other things that I want to do. But look at this Mr. Roper photo. So I found this come up like totally by accident on X. I hate calling it X. Let's call it Twitter. Twitter X. X-rated Twitter. And some guy posted this, that he got a tattoo of his father and complained that it looked too much like Mr. Roper and was wondering where he could go to get it fixed. I don't know if it's fake or if it's AI or just whatever. Funny joke, whatever, I don't care. But could you imagine? And who would even get the frickin' joke? But could you imagine somebody's walking around with Mr. Roper on their body? Stanley! Who's walking around with Mr. Roper on their body? There can't be too many people in the world with that. Good Lord. Oh, man. It's funnier the more I stare at it. I guess that's fake skin, right? That's gotta be fake. My goodness. I almost want it, like, and who would get that reference? Like, that show started in 1977. Oh my God. It's iconic. Even worse would be having Mrs. Roper. Oh shit. All right, so let's continue with Mr. Roper time. First joke. My friend was struggling to pay his water bill, so I sent him "Get well soon" card. The next joke under it is, oh, and this is perfect. This is a landlord joke. Oh, Mr. Roper, this is working out. This is synergy. I love it. Oh, the stupid things that make me laugh. My landlord told me he needed to talk to me about the heating bill. I told him, come by anytime. My door is always open. I gotta stop this for a second and find the next joke. Okay, we'll keep it short today. One last one. What kind of pants does a ghost hunter wear? Just a pair of normal jeans. So anyways, that's a good one. I like it. Nobody leaves me any comments, so I really don't know what goes on out there. I hope I get views, so I assume somebody's listening to some of it. Anyways, to the people that actually listen or watch, tell me what you like and don't like, and what improvements, things that you'd like to see. I want to do more than just politics, but it's the only thing that seems to come across my bow during the day lately. I'm going to start leaving after the end of the videos a little bit of Christian content, even though I'm a total hypocrite and, you know, worst Christian ever. But I'm going to start leaving some videos or little nuggets at the end. I don't know. Whatever you'd like to see and experience. I really don't want to get into a lot of, I don't know. I'm open to anything, really. But just let me know what you think. Anyways, give me a quick second. I gotta take a text. Anyways, as I was as I was saying, I assume the 5 people that watch these videos are friends or family, so, you know, you can always easily get in touch with me. If there's something that you'd like to discuss on the show, or people you think would want to be on the show and talk about things, don't have to use your own name or anything like that. You're free to talk about whatever you want. You know, I'd love to do like a Joe Rogan type of thing, but, you know, I really am not that delusional that I expect to make money at this. Give me a nickel. Give me a nickel for every show. Let's see. If I had a nickel for every... what's 100 times a nickel? I might get, what, $5 from all this effort for the last few months. Anyways, thank you everybody for watching and putting up with me. You have been a dynamite audience, and you deserve to give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you, and from Stanley Roper and I, thanks for watching. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, tell a friend, and God bless and all that jazz. Okay, and we're back, and this is bonus footage that I'm not going to make anybody sit through. I'm not going to thump anybody. I'm just going to tell you about my personal journey over the last 20 some odd years, and share a few things, and for anybody that is the least bit Christian, has any faith, you don't have to be religious. I'm not religious at all. Anyways, there's been something, you know, kind of missing in my life that it's always been in my life, but anyways, I just needed something else to do in my day, to see things through a different lens and fill my heart. Anyways, long story short, which I'll get into little bits and pieces as we go through this journey. I totally recommend this for men. I do a daily devotional, and I'm going to show the book. It's not this guy does not pay for advertising. So daily devotional for men, 2026, a year's worth of devotions from St. Francis Carson. Don't know the guy. I'm enjoying this thing. I'll explore it with you as we go. Like I said, I'm not trying to beat it into anybody. It's just helpful for me, helpful for my heart, because, you know, so much goes on in your lifetime and around you in the world, and you know, you can end up feeling kind of lost and dead inside, and all kinds of things, sad, and every emotion possible. Anyways, I gotta put this on pause and I'll get to it. Anyways, I'm back. So with each day, it starts off with a bit of scripture, a bit more scripture, and kind of purpose of the lesson for the day. So we'll call it the lesson of the day. Then something to meditate on, and then additional scriptures for you to look up, which I sit at my desk and I go on BibleGateway.com, which I used to use like 20 years ago. It's still there, still very useful. You just type in, you know, so say Exodus 20, 12, and it brings it up. You know, you can search for anything, even if it's a single word. It's search engine. So I use that because I can't find anything in that book. I don't know where to look. I don't know left from right. And then there's some guided prayer, and then you can do your own prayer. That's when I do my one-on-one with the Lord. And so what's weird is, too, is I bought this thing. It's supposed to start January 1st, right? 365, but I didn't get it till like a couple months ago. So I'm like not lined up on the day. But what's weird is how each day the lesson lines up with what's going on in my life on that particular day. So it doesn't matter that I didn't start on January 1st. It's lining up it's just lining up the way it should. So I guess ultimately that's God's timing, right? Like, or coincidence? I don't know. Anyway, so so I was talking to my father, and today's lesson was about honoring your parents and elders. So from Exodus 20:12, honor your father and your mother so that you may live long in the land that. Sorry, I can't read now. Honor your father and mother so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you. And then there was additional scriptures, Leviticus 19:32, Proverbs 23:22. What I have found with this is there's a lot of repeats on the things to look up, but it's kind of like, get it into your head. Yeah, it's repeating. Maybe it'll sink in one day. Anyway, I'm not the brightest bulb, so I need a lot of repeats. And the beautiful thing is I'm such a dunderhead. By the time I get through this thing, I'll have forgotten it all. Or maybe I'll have it memorized. I doubt that. But I'll start over again, and, I think after I do this same book for a long time, I might get it memorized if I live that long. Anyways, I don't know what to call this segment. Maybe Christian Corner. I don't know. But I have a video that I'm going to share, and then I'll shut this down. And this video popped up, I don't know how, it popped up in my YouTube feed, and it really got me. It really got me. Let me pull it up. Anyways, it's a weird way to start this video. It didn't have a start and stop, so I have to slide this up and down for some reason. Anyways, I think this video, whoever this guy was, I felt conviction in my heart. I really did. I'm not lying to you. I felt convicted.
And to how
No,
the
not him. How do I get back up there? Oh, for crying out loud. This guy.
I don't know about you, but I've seen this claim plenty of times. I was a Christian until I read the Bible. I'm going to be straight with you. No, you weren't. You cannot read the words of Jesus and somehow lose Jesus. You reveal that you never belonged to him in the first place. Jesus already addressed this exact group of people. John 8:31. If you abide by my word, you are truly my disciple. Not if you sample my word. Not if you skim my word on social media. Not if you take verses out of context. If you abide, if you stay, if you submit, if you follow. The people who say, I left Christianity because I read the Bible, they never abided. They never surrendered. They never belonged. And Jesus wasn't unclear about this. Matthew 7:23, I never knew you. Not I knew you once, not you walked away, never. But why do people say this? Simple. Because they came to the Bible expecting a motivational book, self-help guide, a good vibes only Jesus, a God who fits their lifestyle. And instead, they were met with conviction, truth, authority, holiness, a Jesus who demands repentance, a God who defines right and wrong. So rather than change their life, they changed their story. I didn't walk away, the Bible pushed me away. No, it didn't. Conviction pushed them away. Truth pushed them away. Lordship pushed them away. Obedience pushed them away. And what they really mean is, I read something in the scripture that confronted me. It confronted my sin, and I didn't want to give that up. So they blame the Bible instead of their own rebellion. Real Christians don't run away from scripture. They run to it. Real Christians wrestle, repent, and rise. Fake Christianity walks away the moment Jesus is no longer convenient. If reading the words of Jesus made you stop being a Christian, you were never following him to begin with. You were following a version of Jesus made in your own image. Let me make this clear. The Bible doesn't drive real disciples away. It exposes the ones who were pretending. And if you're watching this and you feel real conviction, good. Conviction is a sign that God is calling you. Run to him, not away from him. Jesus is Lord, not our opinions, not our feelings, not our preferences. Christ is King. I don't know about you, but I've seen this claim plenty of times. I was a Christian until I read the Bible. I'm going to be straight with you. No, you weren't.
Trying to turn that off. Anyways. Wow, that's powerful stuff. That stuff will get you shot. Man, anyways. Stuff like that makes me think every day. Anyways. As I sit here drinking beer and having a cigarette. I got a long way to go, don't I? Anyways, take care, everyone, and take care of each other out there. Love you.